Welcome to the Literally First Class podcast, where I will teach you how to overcome anxiety and achieve somatic success. I'm your host, Keri Ford. I'm a somatic success and holistic life coach here to bring humor, insight, and wisdom to the modern day woman that wants to feel alive in her daily life. You ready? Come on, I saved you a seat in first class. My team just told me that more than 70 of you have actually gotten inside the Limitless Leader Playbook. It's a 3-part training. It's totally free, at least for right now. So make sure you go grab that in the Wealth Vault that we have inside the show notes. Inside the Wealth Vault, which is totally new, it has our newsletter that you can get onto our email list that we send out weekly. Like last week, I shared how I got my Instagram account back and tips that you could take if you run an online business, which is essentially like your online storefront, how you can prevent that from happening. And if it does, how you can get it back and the steps that I took. I also present frameworks, mapping techniques that I take myself through, and ways that I elevate to create higher impact and higher cash months. So go check that out in the Wealth Vault. Today we're going to be talking about somatic sales. I come from a background of high ticket sales, but the reason I hesitated is because that's not entirely true. I learned how to do high ticket sales because the low ticket sales weren't working for me back in the day. I've been in the online space in some capacity since probably 2010. This was back when ebooks were all the rage. I mean, they've kind of made a comeback. This is when it was like, oh my gosh, you need to start a blog. Blogs have also kind of come back, or at least having a couple blogs on your website for SEO currently. This is when newsletters were popular, which went away for a while and also now have come back. So I've been in this space for a long time. I've seen a lot of iterations as far as like what's working and where trends go and what, consumer behavior does and the patterns that they follow. And then what happens when the market gets either saturated or sophisticated or both. And so, long story longer, when I first started this online venture, this is kind of funny. I was trying to set up my business model from a volume space, but I had like 4 followers and like one of them was my mom. So I would ask my mom, please, can you go like my post? And we had this like monthly call, this membership back when I sold nutrition and fitness plans and coaching. And we had this like conference call that you could dial into. No Zoom, that didn't exist. No camera, FaceTime or anything. It was literally a phone call you could get on. And it would say like, hello, 8 callers are on the line. And sometimes there'd only be like 2 callers. So I would tell my mom and my sister, like, can you just dial in? And like, you don't have to listen, but I just want more people on the call. Because, you're trying all the things. And it's sad when you're like, man, I've got, I don't know, I think I had 40 people in the membership at the highest point, and 2 people would show up to a call and you're like, oh my gosh, just the wind knocked out of me. So anyway, I tried a bunch of low ticket stuff, like selling an ebook that was over 100 pages. I think my first ebook, or one of the first, was about 150 pages, and it was a labor of love. It was like a fucking book. I should have published it through Amazon. And I think it was called The Ignite Girl's Life. And it had a nutrition plan. It actually had patterns about perfectionism, things I still talk about today, which is just really funny. Being a high performer, all of those things, and how it likens itself to food. I just didn't have the somatic piece, the trauma training, and the personal development component, which arguably was like the biggest piece missing from all of this. So I would sell this 150-page ebook. I think I sold it for like $20 or $30, and I sold like 14. It was so like heart crushing. It was awful because I put so much work into this. I put so much work into the business, honestly. I created an in-home studio where I was shooting at-home workouts. I had a YouTube channel because I saw somebody else doing this and they had a huge community, a huge volume base. And I just thought, oh, well, that's what I need to do. I need to have like a cooking channel. I'll tell you why that's funny in a second. I'll have a cooking channel, or a cooking day that I do on my channel on YouTube. I'll have a workout day. I'll have a fashion day. Every day had a theme. So I was coming at it like creating all this content as if I had 15 people at my company helping me, like movie and magazine level stuff. I wouldn't say it was like movie quality, but I was acting like I had this whole production team behind me to create all of this content. And needless to say, it was a lot to keep up with. And then going back to the cooking part, I've shown like previous and current clients one of the one of the videos from this era, and boy was it an era. I had a theme day and it was called Tiny Bites Tuesday. Literally the food was like tiny bites, and it was all stuff you could either that was like really healthy or low carb or made with protein powder. But the funniest part is I fucking hate cooking. I hate cooking. Jake cooks in our house. He does all the grocery shopping, and like amen, because his food is so good. I will say I can make an awesome chili and some mean Italian meatballs because I'm from New Jersey and I'm Italian. My maiden name is Italian. My dad's 100% Italian. My grandparents had like off the boat names. Like my grandfather's name was Pasquale. Like hello. So anyway, I really hate cooking, and now I have this cooking show. But, the reason looking back now that it didn't work is I was trying to reverse engineer a business model that worked really well for somebody else because it was aligned to them. And the only reason I was doing it is because I thought, well, they're having success, or at least what appears to be success. So that must be what I should be doing. And so that's where when we set up a business model and our offer suite and all of the things we do as an online business, we open our virtual storefront, we have to ask ourselves the question, is this even what I want? Or am I creating, instead of an empire, walls around me? Because I was exhausted trying to keep up with that amount of content. But to be honest with you, I didn't even love doing it. It was like, it was such a chore. It didn't light me up. And so guess what? The YouTube channel never took off. Tiny Bites Tuesday was a flop. Literally, it was terrible. And like the food was okay. I had the funniest one was probably when I made, it's probably when I made these tiny burgers. So it was like a bit of ground beef, a little ball sandwiched between a mushroom cut in half, and the mushroom was the burger bun, but there was no bun. It was ridiculous. It was like, oh my gosh, what was I doing with my life? So it didn't work. It wasn't aligned. I was trying to put the cart before the horse, and I was trying to build a business model that didn't make sense or acknowledge what was like actually going on. So at the time, I think I had 1 or 2 interns working for me because I did have something that was working really well, and that was our fitness apparel line. But those of you who have been with me through many evolutions and iterations of my business, and even owned one of these shirts, we started this apparel line, and it was just a random idea that I had for a fitness weekend that I was hosting here in Atlanta back in 2012. And I made them and I posted it on Instagram, and it was for a fitness weekend only. So it was like supposed to be for the swag bags, and people went crazy over them. And they said, like, I got so many comments on there. They were like, I want one of those. Like, how much are they? Like, where can I buy one? And I'm like, oh, these aren't even for sale. These are just swag bag items that I was getting screen printed by a friend of mine who I paid and had a business in Florida. But they couldn't, there was no storefront. So I thought, okay, I guess I should make a storefront. They sold out like hotcakes. And it made so much sense because I love fashion, I love fitness wear, and my background is in design and marketing. So I created and designed them all. So they said muscle and mascara, lunges and lip gloss, pavement and pearls was our running one, kettlebells and kisses, and diamonds and deadlifts. So it was about you can be both athletic and girly. You can be into the gym and also into fashion. So it was like both and. Muscle and mascara was by far our most popular, and lunges and lip gloss probably the runner-up. And so it became so popular that it went viral on Pinterest and on Etsy. It was like our most pinned pin. It might even still be there. I barely use Pinterest. And the problem is it went viral and took off without me. So then people were printing these sayings in their house, in their garage, and mass producing them. They were all over Etsy. We had a lawyer send out cease and desist letters. It was like insane. But at that point, I was like horrified at the amount of people that were printing these. So what happened was when I ordered them and these were flying off the shelves like hotcakes, I had 2 interns come help me because simultaneously they were featured in what was called Clutch Club. And it was one of those like membership subscription boxes. And so we had like a 7-day skinny detox at the time. And then I think you could get like a coupon code toward the shirt. I'm forgetting. This was like 12 years ago. So we're sending out like 25, 30 orders a week, which was a lot for a small business out of like a home office. So you had to pre-order a certain amount through this other small business, and they were like 12 and a quarter to get printed. So, he prints them, sends them in bulk, which have a bunch of sizes in 5 different SKUs. Maybe only had 3 at the time, but then eventually we had 5 different varieties. And then they came in like extra small, medium large, extra large, and XXL. We wanted to be super inclusive of everybody. And so we had all these shirts in our office, and then all these people start mass producing them, and they're doing it themselves. So they're saving the cost on printing. And so that's like really reducing the cost of what they need to charge to make a profit. But then what happened is Target, Academy Sports, and Wet Seal, which I didn't even know they sold fitness apparel, started to sell them, and Target sold them online for $10 with free shipping. I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding? So they just fizzled out, and we had all this extra inventory in our office. So that was really disappointing because it was like, we went viral. We had this great $1 million idea, and it took off without us. So always get your shit protected. Always get your intellectual property trademarked. And at the time, I remember talking with a lawyer, and they said you kind of can't trademark sayings, but I think you actually can. I mean, we trademarked somatic success. People use that now, and we've had to send a couple, Instagram messages, just kindly saying, "Hey, we actually trademarked that. That's one of our USPs, our unique sales process things, and things that makes us stand out in the market. So you need to stop using it." But it's really hard to police it, not only physically, but emotionally and energetically. So after a while, I was pregnant with my first kid, and I just decided to let go of that whole apparel line and not chase it because it was just too much. And of course, like most viral things, it faded out. So anyway, that was an aligned piece of the business. It lit me up. I was excited about it, and it took off. So alignment is huge when we're taking action, because action without alignment is just busyness without purpose. Action without alignment is just busyness without purpose. We feel like we're being productive, but we're just busy. We're just filling our time with shit to do. But like, is it even what you want? Right? It goes back to that question. So then we go back to the business model question around pricing. So I was trying to have this volume-based business that really was making me no money. Like, I think the highest income year we had was like $36,000. So it was like cute cash, like cute hobby on the side. And my husband at the time was the breadwinner. So it was like cute, like that's a fun hobby. And so he kind of treated it that way too. And he wasn't an entrepreneur. Like, he is through and through a corporate guy, as is my whole family. So I've got this like support system in my direct immediate family, and even in my friends like circles, nobody's an entrepreneur. Nobody. So I have like no support system that is helping anchor me to like bigger dreams, elevated consciousness. I didn't even know what the fuck that meant, to be honest with you. Online coaching wasn't really a thing yet. It was starting to, but you would see like online communities, blogs, newsletters, and ebooks, like with hundreds of thousands of followers. But I didn't, at least in the circles I was running in, see a lot of service-based coaching, like one-on-one concierge, I'll say. So that all died out. That whole business, like, I gave up on it. I went back to corporate because I was like, this isn't working. Like, I can't, it's cute to make $36K, but like, I'm putting in so much work, and like, is this even worth it? So I just decided like the effort wasn't matching the income, and I went back to corporate. Plus I was like having babies and stuff, and I needed to get out of the house, because those of you that are moms that work, working out of the house or having a job is like a vacation. I mean, it's a different kind of work, but it certainly is a welcome break. So, and I like working. So I did that for a bit, but I came back to coaching in 2018, and I even started getting some signs that I should be going back, or I was like out of alignment doing the consulting, even though I was making great money, multiple six figures, and I've always been really good at my corporate or marketing consulting and those kind of jobs. I just was like, I feel like I'm selling my soul. Like, I hate this. I hate that this is the only way I know how to make money. So going through my divorce in 2018, gosh, you guys are really getting a lot of history here. Going through my divorce in 2018, I decided to hire a coach because now I'm seeing more of this pop up on social media. It was like through a webinar, an ad. I signed up for this 5K coaching program. It was like 8 weeks group coaching. And I learned sales. I learned how to sell something more than $2,000. And I just was like, oh, what? Like, I can actually like make a living doing this. This is insane. So it started with $2,000 for a 4-month program that I was selling. Mind you, my pricing, like I told you, was just based on ebooks. And I had 45 people at my highest in our membership for the nutrition and fitness, except I was charging $75 for our highest, most custom tier of coaching. Like these women were getting, and there were maybe 10 of those, but these women were getting custom nutrition, custom workout plans, and it changed every 4 weeks. Like, what was I doing? There was so much work, and it was like no money. But I really loved those clients. They were such a joy to work with, and we got great results, which was cool. So I did that, and looking back, it's like $75 a month for custom everything is like, I mean, when you think about the hours I was putting in, I literally was making less than minimum wage. It was just insane. So, and I didn't have a team, right? Like this is me doing it all on my own. And so I was like, this is not sustainable. Like I can't make a living like this. So I went from $75 a month in custom everything to now charging present day more than $75,000 for the year to work with me one-on-one. And that didn't happen overnight. It can't. And this is where the conversation around somatic sales comes in. This message sponsored by Po Hung Yu. Have you ever thought about microdosing before? Maybe you've even seen documentaries like Fantastic Fungi or How to Change Your Mind on Netflix. By the way, I have a funny story about the Fantastic Fungi, but you're going to have to ask me offline. Or maybe you've heard about the extensive research happening in the best universities and the evidence showing how mushrooms are game-changing for those with anxiety, depression, ADHD, and even PTSD. So many female leaders and moms have jumped on the microdosing bandwagon to help them better manage modern-day stress. I want to introduce you to our new brand partner, Po Hung Yu. She's a self-mastery mentor, microdosing guide, and a former acupuncturist. And as a successful woman like me, like you, imagine a life where your brain and your nervous system can just relax. That's exactly what happens when you microdose and you're guided by an experienced facilitator. So you can actually be present and enjoy your life minus the anxiety, overwhelm, and stress. The best part is you don't feel high, there's no psychedelic effect, and no one will know. You can still work, be with your kids, drive, exercise, and live your normal day-to-day life. But you'll still receive all of the amazing benefits of mushrooms, like increasing neuroplasticity, flow, creativity, focus, and even your connection and intimacy with your loved ones. Not only will you receive a 15-minute consult where Po will tell you exactly how this process works so you can decide if it's a fit for you, but you'll also get a bonus of $500 off and a complimentary root cause assessment call worth over $800 when you decide to work with Po. Click the link below in the show notes to get started today. So first we have to learn a skill set around sales, right? And I didn't agree with all of them. Some of the sales tactics felt icky and not aligned. So like, for example, I've tried this a multitude of times, having somebody else in my DMs. Thank God for ManyChat now. We have tried the human-to-human touch. It's like people just feel, and we own it. We say like, hey, I'm so-and-so from the team. People just don't really want to engage or connect. They just want the link that they want. So ManyChat helps us with that. But I lost my train of thought. Going back to somatic sales. So I started at $75 a month in this custom everything. Then I go to $2,000 for a 4-month program. I thought, oh my God, I can really do this. But like, you can't make that jump all at once. I remember being so nervous because I was like, no one's going to pay me that. No one's going to pay me $2,000 when they've previously paid me $75. And like, I'm coming back to coaching. Who's going to say that they're even excited I'm coming back? Thank goodness. I immediately had clients that were like, thank God you're back. We've been waiting to work with you again. And like, my sister wants to work with you and my cousin wants to work with you. And so I had a full roster and I worked my way up. So I started with $2,000. And here was the tip on top of, sales tactics. That's what I was talking about. Here's the tip that the coach at the time gave me. She was like, okay, well, you don't have to raise your prices. You can stay charging $75 a month for custom everything, or you can think about all the ways in which you have invested in your growth, get kind of pissed off, and recognize that you literally have the experience and the value to offer that matches the price point, which is so huge. Because I don't believe in the conversation around like charge your worth. That's so subjective. If you're brand new to coaching and you're like, I deserve, $10,000 for a month of coaching, why? Like, you need to have some reps under your belt. You need to have some results. You need to have the qualifications, the training. You can't just charge that because you feel like it. Because you're worthy. You're worthy of everything. And anything's possible, but you have to have the value in the training to back that up. So I started with $2,000. Eventually, I think the next price was around $4,500. And so bringing in the nervous system conversation around this, you have to charge a price when you're raising your rates, that is. When you're looking to raise your rates, you have to charge a price that is stretchy but doable. And so $2,000 felt stretchy but doable to me. I set that price when I first started charging it. So I was nervous to speak it, but I could see how it could be possible. I was like, I feel like I could, maybe it's not an old client that converts, and it actually was, but maybe it's someone else. And, there are definitely ways to talk about, sales and have conversations around money, which can be a sensitive topic for some people, that are really quite open and transparent and aren't icky at all. They're not a tactic. It's just a transparent, open conversation. And that's really what I was in creation of. It was like, hey, I've been out of the coaching game for a couple years, but I've still been consulting, doing some of this on the side. And, because of all the ways I've poured into myself, and because when I decided to come back to coaching, here's what that looks like now. And so my prices are XYZ if you'd like to come back and join me. And she was like, yup, sign me up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like $2,000 for 4 months. And then that starts to feel easy, or it starts to feel a little bit like, okay, I think I'm undercharging based on all the education, all the ways I'm pouring into myself, because then I went on to invest in another coach. I think it was $5,000 for that program, and then another $8,000, another $25,000, and it just like kept going, right? So you raise the rate, first of all, based on your experience and what's actually true and your training and your results. If you don't have results yet and you're just starting out in coaching, or you're transitioning from another career, you need to get some results. So that might mean, having discounted prices, running beta programs, doing trades with people just to get some confidence, some reps, and some results and testimonials. Like, you need those things before you can even think about charging more. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, now you get to sit with your nervous system, and you get to notice that as you speak a price that's like beyond what you're currently charging, what happens inside your body? Because the price doesn't matter. The nervous system selling it does. Because if you're so scared to sell that price, like if I sat there and I came out of the gates and I went from $75 a month to $10,000 a month, I would be like, no way. And I would probably subconsciously ruin the sale. I would not be fully in my body, connected to myself, anchored to confidence, feeling like I could deliver, feeling like I was worthy of that, all of the things that come up. And I would be in massive fear. And people feel that. People feel your energy. That's what we're created to do. So we naturally, as a human with a nervous system, attuned to other nervous systems and other humans. And so they pick up, even if you're not saying it, they will pick up energetically on you feeling like, this is like way beyond stretchy. This is like beyond an upper limit. This is like impossible. So you have to go at the pace of your nervous system, and you have to know how to check in with your body to know that, you know what, this isn't even just a little fear and also confidence. It's like all fear, and my body's screaming like, no way. I don't feel grounded at all. Like, this feels impossible. That's usually an indication that's too far ahead, too stretchy. So we do a nervous system test with clients where when they ask me this, and I'll tell you in a second what spurred this whole idea for the podcast. When they ask me what they should charge, I ask them, like, what do you want to charge? What do you think you should charge? What are you valued at based on what you offer? But also, what makes sense for you? Like, fuck what everybody else is doing. Case in point, my old company, me trying to do a business model that made zero sense. I didn't have the team. I didn't even like what I was doing. It was like totally out of alignment. So if you build it out of alignment, you're not going to attract people because that's not magnetic. It's not going to work because you're not embodied in it, right? In your body. So when I get the question, what should I charge? You can literally charge anything, going back to my first point around experience and value and training, right? And putting the reps in. But what also makes sense for you and like the way you want to run your company? So there's a lot of different ways to do this. Let's just first talk about the business model before I come back to the DM conversation I had the other day. The business model that I used to have was only high ticket. So first I tried this go at like YouTube channel, Tiny Bites Tuesday, ebooks, blah, blah, blah. We know that didn't work. I came back to coaching. I learned how to sell. I learned how to listen to what people are really saying. I learned how to read between the lines, and I learned how to have transparent conversations around money. Like, is it a circumstantial thing? Or is it not aligned? Like, do you genuinely just not want this program or not a fit together? Or is it like, you need help figuring out like how we can make it work? Those are two different conversations, and you get to be neutral about money if you're going to help somebody with that on a call. So I learned all that, but then I only had a high ticket business. And if you have only a high ticket business, you have less people responsible for all of your income. That can be a little scary because what if that program goes away? Now you've lost your entire company. You've lost all of your income, right? Also, you only have so much capacity because you're still in some regard trading time for money. So that's like the top, let's say, right? The high touch, the high ticket containers and coaching. Lots of one-on-one, lots of extra time, lots of customization. But what I've learned over the last couple years is how to diversify our product suite. So to speak to the same person, but to offer different things at different price points. And actually, we have some new things coming. So if you've been watching me and you're like, man, I really want to work with her, but I'm just not ready for that 6-month or 12-month commitment with our Apex Academy or that level of investment, we have other options that are coming to you that are still really high vibe, that are exactly for you as a high achiever, for the woman that is building the next level of her business. So anyway, we've got a lot of tangents going on in here because I have a lot to say about somatic sales. So it depends on the business model that you want to create, right? If you love one-on-one work, you envision yourself having a very simple business model and serving only one-on-one clients for the high ticket price, great. But if it doesn't feel good to you to only serve 5 people and you imagine yourself serving a more, a higher volume and scaling, then you might have to just revisit how you're doing that, because it's not a money thing, it's a service thing. You're not going to have capacity to serve 100 people in a one-on-one capacity. Like, from where would you get the hours? That's not going to work. And so then you think about like group programs, self-paced courses, online things, master classes, pre-recorded audios. Like, we had a program called The Millionaire Mindset. We still have it. You just can't buy it separately now. And it is 86 meditations for women in leadership that are looking to manifest their next level of wealth, their next level of growth, to experience somatic affirmations and learn how to do that. to find peace and overcome some anxiety and reduce stress. So all of those are pre-recorded, but like that content continues to live on. The hundreds of women that joined that get to constantly be consuming all of those meditations, but it doesn't require any additional one-on-one time from me, right? So you have to think about how to diversify your product suite in that way if you desire that. Now, some people don't even offer high ticket. Some people only do group programs, master classes, pre-recorded courses, or maybe they do a group course with some live coaching component, but it's like 1 or 2 calls a month. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. So when you catch yourself asking, like, should I do it this way? I want to know what part of you is asking that. The part of you that probably wants to get it right, that doesn't want to mess up. And you got to ask yourself, like, what is it I want? And is this aligned instead? So DM conversation. One of my clients and someone that is looking at some of our other programs to ascend into asked me, hey, I've got this program. It originally was priced at this. I think I want to price it at this. What do you think I should do? And I was like, ultimately, the price doesn't matter. The nervous system selling it does. That's the only thing that matters with price. She's already experienced. She already has a business. Like, fuck the price. What do you want? What does your nervous system tell you? What is actually true and coming up for you in your body when you speak that price? Does it light you up? Does serving this way light you up? Or no? Because otherwise you're going to be in the boat I was in where you're trying to build a business that's just not authentic and aligned to you, and you wonder why you keep hitting the same wall over and over again and it's just not working. That's why. So when you learn how to listen to your nervous system, you can set the price according to your experience, the reps, the results, transformations that you deliver. And then when you ask yourself what you really want and get into alignment with the business model you want, prices sort of fall out from there. It's really a whole other podcast, to be honest with you, to talk about like an offer suite and the client journey. And the client journey can shift depending on the market and where people are, where there's a market need, I'll say, where there's a gap in the market based on buyer behaviors, and also where there's a need where everybody else has zigged, you get to zag, for example. So it's why things like newsletters were all the rage. They left for a while and now they're back. So it really depends on the current market, depends on the market gap. It depends on where everyone is zigging, so you can maybe zag. And it also depends on what's aligned to you and what lights you up and feels good. Nothing is worse than building a business that ends up being the shackles to your day and your life. That you're like, oh, I hate these calls, or I don't look forward to this. So it has to light you up. So I hope that's helpful. If you need more support on knowing how to listen to your body, do the nervous system test, get into your body to do the somatic work around that. But also, if you're seeking to expand and double your rates, some of my clients have done that recently. Many clients have, whether it be renegotiating contracts, having conversations with current clients where they want to raise their rate, double their rate mid, or as contracts cycle out. I don't want to say mid, but mid relationship, if you will. Or you're reevaluating like your whole business and you're like, okay, listen, I just need to elevate these prices and move through my next level wealth identity. So if you need support with that, we do those things inside the Apex Academy, where you can get even more support on the somatics and business. We do both inside there. And I'll put that link in the show notes below. So, all right, keep it first class, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
I hope you enjoyed your flight, and I'll see you on board again soon.
Seriously though, thanks for listening. If you're ready to take this work deeper and upgrade your mind, I want to invite you to join us inside my Millionaire Mindset program. This is where you'll start using my guided meditations to help you overcome anxiety and experience even more abundance. When you join, you'll have access to my entire audio library. Head over to elevatewithkeri.com and we'll see you inside.